Hey guys, it is September already, so I thought we'd get on the mat and do a little bit of a power flow, maybe a little something different than we usually do. I'm gonna kind of combine two different sequences that I like to perform. One is the classic sort of power flow sequence that we all know and love, where we do some breath and movement. But what I'm gonna incorporate is a flow that we do in a hot environment. It's a hot yoga flow. And that's typically done, at the sort of Bikram extreme, 105 degrees, plus maybe as much as 110 degrees, depending on the studio, and a lot of humidity, a lot of moisture in the air, about 50%. Because those are the circumstances, those are the conditions, we typically go slower in that practice. And what that does is allows our breathing to take over, to be more important than it typically is, because we're regulating our body temperature by breath and moving things a little bit more slowly, and then also concentrating on letting our muscles open up and kind of extend a little bit more, opening up our joints, tendons, and ligaments. But before we get there, I want to do a little bit of integration, and breath's going to be important. So we're going to do a little bit of some sun salutation work, then we're going to start getting into a nice, strong flow. So please get ready on your mats. No equipment is necessary. If you, in your personal practice, like to use blocks or straps or blankets even to help facilitate opening up joints, especially knees with blankets, etc., please feel free to incorporate them. I'll do my very best to guide us through this practice. What I want to do is get your mat set out. Let's get ourselves started. Have some water handy because we're going to need to take some breaks here. And there's a lot of combination work. So in other words, we're moving from one, especially in balance, one balanced posture right into the next. And I will do my very best to break that all down, maybe do a little bit of a workshop for you guys to facilitate how to move from one balanced posture to the next one, okay? So that being said, let's get on our mats, let's get into tabletop position. Kind of set ourselves up, knees hip distance apart, palms flat, fingers wide. Let's do some cow and cat. Just some easy movement to start with. Rounding that back, kind of loosening that lower back up, releasing your belly, lifting your head up, lifting your tail up. Just nice and fluid, nice and easy. Don't worry about how many you're doing. If you like to throw a bit of a hip roll in, please feel free to do that as well. You hip roll it one way, you got to hip roll it the other. Now, I'm going to step my hands a little bit more forward. I'm going to curl my toes under, and I'm going to shift my hips into down dog. So this is my first down dog of the day. I'm going to take a little bit of time to see how I'm feeling. Maybe walk my dog out a little bit, bend one knee, rise up the ball of that toe, then bend the other, walking the dog. I'm always making sure that I'm keeping my shoulders engaged, pressing away from that mat. Trying to find the balance between my upper back body and my lower back body. And ideally, my heels are on the mat, but that's not ideal for you. Just rise up, maybe rise up with the balls of both toes, bend your knees, give a little bit of flex here, push back again. The more we start doing our down dog, the more those hamstrings are going to loosen up, and the closer those heels are going to get to your mat. Not too worried about breathing quite yet, but take a breath in, look up towards your hands, and just step yourself forward. Let's keep our feet hip distance apart. I like to keep a little bend in my knee. Grab opposite elbows and just hang here. Let the crown of my head reach to the mat. Letting my upper body weight and gravity kind of pull that lower back a little bit. And if you'd like, you could do a little bit of swaying side to side. Again, loosening things up easy, slowly. We're going to take about 3 rounds of sun salutation. Again, just to kind of loosen things up. Every so often I walk both hands to the outside edge of one foot, and then remember to walk them back around the outside edge of the other. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and toe heel our feet together. Knees are a little bit soft. We're going to inhale and we're going to rise to standing. Once we come to standing, I want you to go roll your shoulders back, flip your palms forward. And then to the side, we're going to inhale and open those arms overhead. Keeping our shoulders nice and relaxed. Bring your palms together. Now, as you take a nice, easy exhale, take those hands, take that thumb, run them right down the center line of your body. Hinge forward at the hips, right at your waist. Release into that forward fold.
There's not a lot of twisting in this sequence, so I'm going to have you guys bend your knees, plant your left hand right on the mat above your toes, inhale your right arm up to the sky, and then once you get that good twist going, you might decide to straighten that right knee. Some of you like to do a little bit of a half bind here, taking that hand, dropping it, rolling the shoulder back, loosening it up. Beautiful. Let's take an exhale. Bend both knees. Bring that right hand to the mat, planting it firmly. Keep those knees bent. Inhale, left arm up. Then once you get a good rotation, maybe open that left knee. I did a half bind on the first side. I'm going to do it on the second. Keeping my practice as balanced as I can. And then as I exhale, I'm going to bend both knees, bring my left hand back down. I'm going to inhale to a halfway lift, making sure to roll into those toes, really grip those toes onto your mat, keeping that neck neutral. Easy way to do that is kind of glance forward, maybe about 18 to 24 inches above your toes, to the top of your mat. Let's plant our hands flat on the mat and step yourself back into plank. Now in this plank, just hold it for a moment, really stack yourself up. Typically we're a little further back, so make sure you're really stacked, shoulders right above your wrists. I'm going to move us right into an up dog. We're not going to do a chaturanga yet. We're going to get to our chaturanga later. So I'm going to flatten my toes. As I inhale, I'm going to drop my hips, lift my chest up forward, and lift my chin. If that's too much strain for your neck, just look forward or even glance down. Keep your neck neutral. Nice. Now let's go ahead and exhale. We're going to shift back into downward facing dog. Second down dog with the practice, so let's take some time, move things around. Pressing it out, fingers wide, really keep those fingers nice and wide. I like to actually press my fingertips into the mat. And it helps give me a little bit more grip, keeps me solid, strong. Let me take a breath in, look up towards my hands, and as I exhale, I'm going to step forward. This time my feet are together. Inhale to a halfway lift. And I'm going to exhale back into forward fold. Oh. Inhale, rising to standing, circling my arms to the side into mountain or Tadasana. Palms together. Exhale, release hands right through heart center. Releasing back into forward fold. Go slow. Inhale, half lift. And again, plant those hands, step yourself back into that plank. Making sure I'm nicely stacked, flattening my toes. Inhale into my up dog. Exhaling into downward facing dog. Beautiful job. Keep moving those legs. Again, we're just warming things up. You know, typically in a usual yoga studio, we're looking at about an 80 to 82, maybe 85 degree temperature environment. Some people have some moisture going in their studios. We probably don't have those conditions at home unless you're like me living in the desert or you're working outside, but not today. Breath in, look up towards your hands, and exhale, step yourself forward. Again, feet together, inhale, half lift. Exhale, back to that forward fold. Inhale, we're going to rise to standing, circling arms to the side, back into mountain. Palms together. Slowly exhale, taking those thumbs, running them right down the front of our body, hinging at the waist all the way into our forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And planting those hands and stepping back into plank. Flattening my toes, inhaling into my up dog. Beautiful. Exhale into downward facing dog. Good. Trying to loosen things up. This is a nice little warm-up to do. Hits most everything we need, so it's a great way to kind of wake up in the morning. Got a few extra minutes. Let's take a breath, look up towards our hands, step ourselves forward. This time we're going to keep our feet about hip distance apart. Softening our knees, inhale, rise to standing. Beautiful. Shake it out. All right, so now a little warm-up going for ourselves, especially the Sundays, as I said, is a great sort of overall body hit. Let's get into some breath work. So to start with, though, feet to be hip distance apart. Boom, boom, arms to your side, boom, side view. What I want to do is I want to inhale, roll my shoulders back, and I'm going to roll them forward. Again, I'm going to roll them back,
And I'm gonna roll forward. One more time, big shrug back, and a big shrug forward. Now we're gonna take some cleansing breaths. So I've got my feet hip distance apart. That's a good balanced position. The closer I bring my feet together, the less stable I am. So if you're feeling need to be nice and stable, just keep your feet separated. So cleansing breaths, here's what I like to do. Take a big breath in. We're gonna rise our hands over our head, palms together, and a big exhale as we come down. Big open mouth exhale, all right? So let's take a big breath in, palms together, exhale. Good, again, inhale. One more time, big breath in. Beautiful, keep your hands right at heart center. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys to close your eyes and toe heel your feet together again. If closing your eyes makes your balance a little wobbly, so if that's how you're feeling right now, maybe don't close your eyes. Or if closing your eyes and bringing your feet together are a little bit problematic, do one or the other, okay? Hello, Gus. What I want to do first is to close our eyes, connect with our breath. Let's get into some Ujjayi breath, some warrior's breath. And what we're going to use this breath for is make sure we keep in contact with our movements and with our physical being. So as we connect our mind to that breath, sealing those lips together, big inhales and exhales through your nose. Just settle into a nice rhythm, a nice pace for yourself. And just kind of ground yourself into that. We're going to do a little grounding exercise in a moment. Those kids. Gus, stop. It's a nut. So one more element of Ujjayi breath is, as you exhale, I want you to constrict the muscles at the bottom of your throat. What that does is it creates a nice little vibration, a nice little humming noise as you exhale. And you might not hear it, you might not feel it, but the point is you're focusing your mind on it, and it's to help slow your breath down. Beautiful. It's good to blink your eyes open, drop your arms to your side, palms facing forward. Let's get to that little bit of a grounding exercise I mentioned. So I want you to roll just a little bit forward into your toes. Good. Now shift back into your heels. Thank you, Gus. Roll to the knife edge of your outer foot. And roll into your inner arch. Now find a point of equilibrium, space between all those four planes, grounding yourself down into your mat. Good. I'm going to switch to the side so you guys can see me. From here, what I want you to do is we're going to inhale into mountain or Tadasana. We've been in mountain before, so we know exactly what to do. Shoulders are relaxed, palms are facing each other. You're going to open your arms nice and wide. And you're going to inhale, lift that head up, exhale, drop into a back bend. Nice. Inhale back into mountain. We've done it before, palms are going to come together. We're going to exhale, releasing into that forward fold. Notice your forward fold. Are they getting a little deeper? Are you loosening that back up? Is that forehead getting closer to your knees? We're going to inhale to that halfway lift. Now, on our exhale, I like to plant my fingertips on the mat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rise up in the balls of my toes, bend my knees, and come into a nice deep squat. Like a little cannonball squat. A couple things to do here. Tuck my chin, bring my forehead to my knees. Or, barring that, you might want to play with some balance by sort of hugging those shins. And if you could do both, hug your shins and bring your forehead to your knees, that's awesome. I can't quite do that. Dropping my fingertips back to the mat, dropping my heels, inhaling back to my halfway lift. Exhaling back to forward fold. Inhale, rise into mountain, arms to the side. Again, we're opening with arms nice and wide. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, drop into a back bend. Good, inhale back to mountain. Palms coming together, exhale, releasing back into forward fold, hinging at that waist. Oh, nice and slow. Inhale to half lift. Now plant your fingertips on the mat, rise the balls of your toes. Exhale, drop those hips down. Every inhale, come up a little higher on those toes. Every exhale, bring that forehead closer to your knees. Inhale, we're going to rise to that halfway lift. Exhale, back to forward fold. Inhale, rise into mountain or Tadasana. Change those arms, go for some goalpost cactus arms. Inhale, lift that chin up. Exhale, drop into that back bend. Good. Inhale, come back up to mountain. Palms together. Exhale, release back to forward fold. Ooh. Inhale to that half lift.
And again, plant those fingertips, rise into the balls of your toes. Exhale, shift those hips down. Tuck in that nice little cannonball. Inhale, up on those toes. Exhale, forehead to your knees. And then inhale, rise with that halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise into mountain. Beautiful. So I'm going to shift myself forward. Bring your palms together, interlace those fingers, release those index fingers. Do some crescent moves. So let's take some time, just kind of move things around a little bit. Kind of loosening up. We're going to really work the side body to start with. And again, if you've ever done this in a nice, very hot room, my goodness, this practice really allows you to get deep, deep, deep in some of these postures. So right now we're going to come to center. Fingertips are nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. Try to line your biceps and your ears up with each other. So as you inhale, lift those fingertips up. And then exhale, I'm going to go gently arc to my right. Now, if my shoulder starts to collapse, that left shoulder, what I want to do is I'm going to lift my chin up, look up towards the sky. Pressing those hips. Nice. Inhale, rise back up. On the exhale, going the opposite direction. Other way. Nice. Inhale, rise back up. Beautiful. As I exhale, I'm going to bring my hands, those fingers, I'm going to hinge at the waist, bring my hands back down to my toes. I'm going to separate my hands, I'm going to leave my feet together. I'm going to go into Padhastasana or Gorilla. Lots of ways to do Gorilla. This is a classic Bikram way. You might maybe see my toes, but I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands, cup my heels with my hands. So I'm going to wrap them around my heels. Another way to do this is separate your feet about hip distance apart, slide your hands under your feet or even off to the side. The point of this posture is use the strength of our shoulders and our arms to help us get deeper in the forward fold. And we do that by really using the leverage, especially with your arms wrapped behind your calves, trying to bring our elbows together. So as I go into this posture, bending my knees, tucking my hands under my heels, and then straightening those knees. Good. Slowly bend those knees, release those hands one at a time. Palms are going to come together, interlace those fingers, release those index fingers. Inhale, rise all the way back up, arms overhead. And we do a little bit of a back bend. So inhale, lift that chin up. Exhale, drop into your back bend. Beautiful. Inhale, rise back up, drop your arms to your side. 3 versions of chair. We call this our awkward chair sequence. To start with, typically when I'm in chair, my feet are together, I'm going to separate my feet about hip distance apart. I'm going to keep my feet hip distance apart in all 3 of these postures, okay? The first, we kind of build ourselves up to the ultimate, which is awkward chair. Lots of options. If awkward chair is not your deal, just stay in your classic chair if you want. With feet hip distance apart, I want to bring my arms up parallel with the mat, shoulders raised up, drop those shoulder blades back. Using some core here, boom, off to the side, I'm going to shift my hips back. Now, for a lot of us, we feel we can't get very deep in this squat. The interesting thing about squats, the ability to squat and whether your feet are forward or angled out at a maybe 30 to 35 degree angle is based on your hip construction, whether you can external or internally rotate your hip. So depending on where that feels, boom, you're going to shift and sit back into your first chair. And just kind of holding it, looking forward, feet are flat, shifting my weight back into my heels, maybe even picking my toes up. I'm going to inhale, rise back up. Second version of chair, we're going to rise onto the balls of our toes. Now, as I go down into chair in this version, up on the balls of my toes, I'm not going to tilt forward as much. My hips are not going to be shifted back as much because I'm balancing on my toes. So what I want to try to do is stay as vertical as possible. And I want to go slow, and I might not get as deep, but I really want to get that core engaged. I'm sucking in that gut, and I'm really using my quads. Just kind of hanging down here in chair again.
Fingers pointing forward, shoulders up and back. And slowly rising back up, dropping those heels, arms to your side. Boom, shake it out a little bit. Final version of our chair, our awkward chair sequence. So, what I want to do is my feet hip distance apart. I want to toe my feet together so my toes, my big toes are touching. Boom, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rise up on my toe. It's just about a quarter, maybe a half an inch off the mat. So nothing dramatic. And with my knees knocked together, I'm going to press my knees together and my thighs together for stability. So as I rise up on my toes, I'm going to have to go really, really slow on the descent. Because I'm really unstable here. So once I find a plan of stability, I'm going to hold it. I may do some nice little undulations, nice and easy, and then rise all the way back up, drop my heels, drop my hands. Awesome, guys. Grab some water. You're going to need it. Next up, we're going to move to some balance combinations. And our balance combinations are not simply one balance posture, it's one moving to the next. The first balance combination is actually 3 postures. One-legged mountain into airplane into warrior 3. I got my warriors right. So that's 3 movements. The next is going to be, it's one-legged mountain into a forward fold, one leg forward fold, and then if you want to move into crane. The next one is eagle into airplane into warrior 3, and the last one is standing forehead to knee, moving into dancer's pose. So I will break all these down for you guys. So from the side to begin with, so bring your feet together. Find any spot on your mat, depending on the studio I'm in or where I'm doing it. Maybe I got too much sweat going up at the top of my mat. Maybe I want to move down to the middle of my mat. Again, whatever feels comfortable to you. Feet together, shoulders relaxed, really grounded. That's why we did this grounding exercise in the beginning. Get back to that Ujjayi breath, so nice, even inhales and exhales with that little constriction. Inhale, arms overhead to mountain. And shift the weight onto my left foot, really grounding in, slightly softening my left knee. And then inhale my right knee up in front of me, flexing my toes. Flexing those toes back towards your shin. This is one leg mountain right here. You want to go a little bit deeper into it, you can kick that heel forward. Again, I'm really using my core and my quads, and my hips and my back. I'm going to bend my knee back to 90 degrees. I'm going to take my palms together, exhale, hands to heart center. Take that right ankle, cross it over my left knee, opening that knee up to the side. Now from here, just hang out if you want to, or you can exhale, bring elbow to knee, elbow to ankle. And if you want, you can release into that forward fold. And then from here, reverse it. So get that core engaged, bring your palms together. Inhale, rise back up to standing. Arms overhead, right knee in front of you. Exhale, bring that right foot back down to your mat. Beautiful. Change orientation. So now I'm grounding down on my right side. Inhale, left knee up. Support leg slightly soft. I did on the first side, so I'm going to kick that foot forward. Working a little bit more. Bending that left knee, palms together, exhale, hands to heart center. Take that left ankle, cross it over my right knee, opening my knee up to the side. Exhale, sitting back into that chair. Elbow to knee, elbow to ankle. And then if I did on the first time, I release into that forward fold. Some people here go into crane, if you'd like. Nice arm balance posture. Nice big core. And then as a reverser, I'm going to engage my abs, palms together. Inhale, rising back up, arms overhead. Oops, Katasana. And exhaling that left foot to the mat, arms to your side. Beautiful. Now, eagle. Eagle moving into airplane, moving into warrior. So, it's a little bit of a different eagle. I'm going to go off to the side. Inhale, arms overhead. Right arm's going to twine into the left. If this feels too strenuous for you, a couple options here, especially for shoulder. I've got a wonky shoulder going on. I've had it for, God, all summer. I'm trying to work it out. I'm not sure what it is, whether it's just muscle or something more important. maybe your palms or the backs of your hands back to back, or just give yourself a hug at the shoulders. It's a great way to do eagle. So from here, we're going to move side to side. Loosen things up. Oh, a lot of people like to do a gentle hinge forward, a gentle hinge back. And let's go ahead and inhale those fingertips to the sky, and then you can exhale, bring those elbows tight to your chest. It's creating a little bit of a constriction here, an additional constriction to your breath. Take a big breath in, and on your exhale, sit into chair. In this version of chair, we're going to shift that weight onto the left foot. Inhale, right leg crosses up and over. And from here, I'm going to bring my elbow to my knee, and I'm going to shoot those fingertips forward. Beautiful. Now for transition, I'm going to unravel my leg first, kick my heel back, and simultaneously release my arms out to the side. This is my airplane. You can angle those arms back like airplane wings if you'd like. And then point that back toe, bring your palms together, interlace those fingers, release those index fingers into my warrior. And then inhale, rise back up to standing, drop your arms to your side. Beautiful. Changing orientations, I'm going to face you guys. Give myself some room. Woo! Arms overhead. Left arm twines into the right this time. Creating my Garudasana arms. Move those shoulders around like I did before, circle. Maybe hinge forward, hinge back, side to side, good. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, elbows down into your chest, creating that constriction. Inhale, deep breath. Exhale, sit into chair. This time shifting the weight onto my right foot. Inhale, left foot crosses up and over. Like I did on the first side, I brought those elbows to my knee, fingertips forward, stretching forward with those arms a little bit. Gazing forward. Some people call this flying eagle. I'm not sure why they do, but they do. I'm slowly going to unravel those legs and then simultaneously release those arms out to the side like the letter T. Hinging, pointing that back toe, bringing my palms together. Interlace those fingers, release those index fingers into my warrior. And then inhale, rise back up to standing. Beautiful. All right. Oops. This baby to fall on me. 300 pounds of cold rolled steel. Okay. Next combination for our balance. Standing forehead to knee, moving into dancer's pose. So standing forehead to knee has got a lot of components to it. Lots of places to find comfort in it. I stop, depending on how I feel, just before what would be considered the ultimate getting that forehead to your knee. I'm still having a little bit of balance issue with that, so I try it every so often. Sometimes I fall out, come back to it, no big deal. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna start standing nice and tall, arms by your side. Shifting our weight onto that left foot. I'm gonna inhale, bring my right knee up in front of me. First level, take your fingers, interlace them under your knee, standing tall. This is great beginning of standing forehead to knee. Next movement, what I would do is I would start rounding my shoulders forward, kind of giving my belly a little bit of a hollow here, and reach down underneath my feet, interlace my fingers here, second level, and then kick that heel forward. As I kick forward, I'm going to pull those toes back towards my face, dropping my forearms to my shins. And again, this is where your forehead would come to the knee. I'm not feeling it today. But slowly what I'm doing is I'm going to bend that right knee, and I'm going to shift it back behind me, grabbing the inside edge, releasing that left arm overhead, beginning of my dancer's pose. Technically, I'm in dancer's pose already, but I want to go a little deeper. To do that, I'm going to begin by giving myself a little arch in that back, lifting that chest up, and then kick that right foot back behind you. As I kick behind me, I'm going to have to gently start to shift forward, reach forward, move forward, gaze forward. Beautiful. Good. Inhale, rise back up. Nice. Tough combo there. Shift and looking the other way so I can show you standing forehead to knee. Like we did before, shifting my weight onto my right foot this time, standing nice and tall. Inhale, left knee up. Interlace those fingers underneath your knee. Remember, keep that support leg slightly soft. Don't push it back. Don't lock that joint out. Probably one of the worst things you can do over time is lock those joints out. Really serves to weaken those joints. Now I'm going to go to the next level. So I'm going to round my shoulders, hollow that belly out, reach underneath my toes, interlace my fingers. I can stand here perfectly fine, or I can go ahead and kick that heel forward, pull those toes back towards my face. And again, if you're feeling it, you can drop that forehead to your knee. And then bend that left knee, and we're going to swivel your foot back behind you, grab the inside edge, releasing that right arm up. Again, knees together, we are in dancer's pose. I like to start with my knees together. It gives me a good point of my base. Feel very balanced here. Inhale, lift that chin up, arch that back slightly. Exhale, kick that foot back behind you. Reach forward, kick strong. If you find yourself wobbling or coming out of balance, kick back even more. Beautifully, inhale, rise back up. Drop your arms to your side. Grab some water, guys. Whew. Shift my mat forward, okay. So, we're gonna move into some flow work right now. So if you're familiar with our classic power yoga sequence where we do 3 rounds of our sun salutation A, version A, and then we start adding to it, moving to version B, we're gonna start with that version B. However, we're only gonna do 1 round on each side, but the sides are longer, so we're gonna add some more elements to it, okay? So that's kind of the deal. What I want you guys to do is get your water, get yourselves toweled off if you need to, get my mat organized here. I'm gonna come into my tabletop. Fingers wide, curl those toes under, exhale into downward facing dog. Beautiful, we've been here before. So you can inhale that right leg high, exhale, step through into that deep low lunge. So in here, we're going to inhale into a warrior 2. So let me switch around so you guys can see this. Boom. So as I inhale, I'm going to drop that back foot. I'm going to rotate it so that the edge of my back foot is parallel to the edge of my mat. I'm kind of looking at my feet, make sure that if I drew a line, my heel would bisect my arch. Pretty okay. Rising back up. Boom. Looking forward. Now I see that my knee feels a little bit forward of my ankle, so I'm going to step my foot forward a little bit more. And then I'm going to exhale, reach forward, moving into extended side angle. Opening that shoulder up. And then I'm going to inhale, drop my left arm behind me, reach up with the right arm, reaching tall, arcing behind, keeping that front knee bent. Beautiful. Inhale, rise back up, shifting my front foot so it's parallel to my back. I'm in starfish, arms parallel. Hinging at my waist, exhale, releasing the forward fold. Maybe grabbing out to the edges of my feet. I want to do a little bit of a side-to-side lateral movement. It's a good stretch on that inner thigh. Those adductors, AD. Beautiful. Stretch those arms out like the letter T, using core. Inhale, rise back up. Bring your arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers. Release those index fingers. Toe heel your feet together. I like to bring them about maybe 2 to 3 feet apart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my heel, my front foot, this would be my right foot, I'm going to pivot my right foot forward. Take my back heel, I'm going to shift it, so basically I'm in warrior 1 feet position. So I want to make sure again that if I drew a line, my heel from the front would bisect the heel in the back. So from here, arms overhead, inhale, lift those fingertips up. As I exhale, I'm going to hinge at the waist, bring my fingertips down to my toes. What I want to do is I want to feel like I'm really overreaching, really overarching. And then once I get my fingers to my toes, and if my forehead's not quite touching my knee, I can separate my fingers for balance, supporting my body on the floor, and then bend that knee slightly. And then you might find, really go ahead and tuck your chin, a nice intense stretch. Beautiful. Bring your hands back together, release those fingers, release those index fingers, rise all the way back up. Good. Drop those arms to your side. Now drop those arms behind you. Let's open that chest up. Drop your head back. Another balance combination here. Toppling tree into standing splits. So what I want to do is I want to soften my front knee a little bit, just a little softening there. Rise up on my back ball of my foot, and I'm going to launch forward. Now with my hands still bound together, I'm going to bring my chest down towards the floor, arms away from my back. And then I'm going to release my hands either side, moving into my standing splits. I like to do Shiva squats here. I like to do 3 of them. And then once I play with those Shiva squats, I like to grab my ankle with one hand, grab my ankle with both hands for some balance play. Beautiful. Drop your hands flat on your mat, step both feet back into your plank. Let's go ahead and inhale, shift forward, a little chaturanga time. Exhale, lower halfway to your mat for strength. Flatten those toes, inhale, up dog. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, I'm going to flip myself around for you guys. Good. Inhale that left leg high this time. Exhale, sweep it through back to our low lunge again. Really step forward. If you need to help that foot forward with your hand, don't be ashamed, don't be shy. Now we're going to inhale, rising up to our warrior 2. Boom. And again, go deep in that front leg. Really use your glutes, get them engaged. And we're going to exhale, reach forward, moving into extended side angle. Give them a good stretch here. And then inhale, rise into our reverse warrior. Again, try not to come out of that front knee. Keep it nice and deep. Beautiful. Inhale, rise back up. Good. Now, feet are now parallel to each other. Arms overhead. Nice stretch up. Drop those arms behind your back. Interlace your fingers into a bind. Chest lifts up. Exhale, release, forward fold. Nice forward fold with the bind. Good job. Inhale, rise all the way back up to standing. Release your arms overhead. Interlace those fingers. Give yourself a nice release back. Drop those arms behind your back. Now, take that front foot, shift it forward. Take your back foot, shift it so it's kind of 45-degree angle. You've moved them closer together. Again, we're toppling tree into standing splits. So inhale, lift that chin up, really open that chest up. As you exhale, launch off that back foot. Boom. Hinge forward at the waist. Ooh, moving toward toppling tree. Release those hands to your mat. Played around with some Shiva squats on the front side, so I'm going to play around a little bit with them on the back. I like to do 3. And play with my balance. Grab that ankle with one hand, grab it with another. Beautiful. Plant those hands, step your feet back into your plank. Good job. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, downward facing. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and inhale that right leg high. If you exhale, bring that knee to your nose. Exhale, legs up high. And then bring that knee to your outer elbow. Shift that foot up one more time. Shift forward. So you're going to take that knee, cross it under your body, the opposite elbow. And then set that foot back down. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee to outer elbow. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, cross that knee under your body, opposite elbow. Exhale, set that foot back down. Play around, move those legs around. A little bit of core work right there. Now let's shift ourselves forward into our high plank. A little bit more core, so I'm going to take your hands, move them forward about the width of one of your palms, then open them up to the side edges of your mat. Keep those hips nice and flat.
We're moving into some really strong core work here called extended plank. Keep holding it with me, guys. Beautiful. Now bring your hands back into position underneath your shoulders. Exhale, shift those hips up. We're back into downward facing dog. Now take your hands, walk them slowly back to meet your feet at the back of your mat. Be about hip distance apart. We're going to go back in a ragdoll. We were here before the beginning of our practice. So maybe go ahead and grab those opposite elbows. Like we did before, maybe sway a little side to side. Walking our hands around. Get some movement going, beautiful. Now we're doing a nice deep malasana squat. So I'm going to toe heel my feet to get apart. I like to take them to the way outside edges, and depending again on your hip construction, your feet might be parallel to each other facing forward, or your feet might be at an angle, maybe 30, 35 degree angle. Depends on how your hips are constructed. So I know that I need a bit of an angle to get into this deep squat. Beautiful. Now release your fingertips to the mat. Inhale, lift those hips up. Exhale, bring those toes together. Inhale, rise to standing. Let's do a little bit of tree right now. So another balance posture for us. Last balance posture of this flow. Tree is a lovely one to finish up with all the hard stuff we got out of the way. Tree is just really pretty. So, hello, you're pretty too. Can you help me do tree? Can you help me do tree? Okay, go watch. Okay, so shift your feet onto, so both feet are together, shifting our weight onto our left foot, palms together. I'm going to take my right foot, shift it out, bring my foot up to my inner thigh. Oops, Tasana. And here I am, I'm in tree. Lots of variations. You can throw whatever fun things you want to at it. This is really classic. Hands at Namaste, at prayer, heart center. Raise those arms up overhead. You do a little lotus mudra, or maybe big wide canopy tree. Cactus, teapot, lots of options. A little bit of bind in that shoulder, lifting that chin up. Beautiful. Boom, bring your hands back to heart center. Release that foot back down to your mat. Shimmy it out a little bit. Let's get good. I see you watching me. All right, let's get tree on the other side. So again, feet are together. We're grounding on the right side this time, kicking the left out. Bringing that left foot up. Now, in tree, we want to make sure there's a couple places to put our foot. First of all, you can leave your feet both flat on the ground. Arms overhead, open them nice and wide. You're fine, you're in tree. Boom, not a big deal. Next level, you would kick your foot out, but you would leave the ball of your foot on your mat, and your heel would rest against your ankle. It's like a little bit of a kickstand. Next level up, you bring your foot to your calf, inside level of your calf. Next level. Beyond that, you're going to bring it above your knee. And what we're doing here, and the reason we want to avoid our knee is because it's going to put a lot of lateral pressure against a hinge joint that goes forward. So we don't want to cause instability here. And what we're doing is we're pushing the bottom of our foot with as much energy into our inner thigh as our inner thigh is pushing out the bottom of that foot, finding balance. Union, yoga. So again, I'm in a nice classic tree. I can grow my branches nice and tall. It can be nice and wide, like cactus or a goalpost. Boom. I had some guy that did airplane before. It was very odd. Thank you, Pip. Your choice, whatever you'd like to do. Maybe do a bind again. Beautiful. Release it. Okay, good. Shake it out, guys. I want to finish up our practice today by doing a standing shavasana. What? I know, very odd. These are odd times. We can do anything we want. That's the beauty of yoga. As long as you're moving your body and you're feeling good and you're feeling moving around and things are flowing for you,
The idea is that you need to listen to your body to stop when you need to stop. And you need to understand the difference between stress that is moving into a position that you've never been in before versus stress or strain that is pain. Because the pain we want to stop. The stress and maybe in a position you've never been before, holding something a little longer than you've ever done before, that's just growth, okay? So you want to be able to understand the difference between the two. It's personal, it's your choice. That's the beauty of it. So we started by bringing our feet together. Let's bring our feet apart for balance. Arms to your side, palms forward. Close your eyes, roll your shoulders up and back, and then roll them up and forward. And then roll them up and back, and roll them up and forward. One more time. Shift the shoulders up, and roll those shoulders forward. Nice. Find a neutral position with those shoulders. Inhale those arms overhead, palms are going to come together. Exhale, bring those hands right down to heart center. Keep your eyes closed and be gaze down over your fingertips. You should feel nice and solid in this position. Maybe those knees are slightly soft. Go back into a normal breathing pattern. Relinquish any of that controlled ujjayi breath. Now, if you don't feel complete without doing a little twisting, please feel free to add a little twisting in, or just getting onto your mat and lying in a classic shavasana. But I wanted to try a standing shavasana. And again, unprecedented times means there are no rules. We get to make things up. Beautiful. Blink those eyes open, drop your arms to your side, and shake it out, guys. All right. This is a very strong workout. I am really sweaty right now. My house is probably about 82, maybe 83 degrees right now, probably 82. So not extremely hot, but I've got really, really high ceilings. They're about 16, 17 feet tall. So in a classic yoga studio, I've not got that much volume and things feel a little hotter, but the beauty of the heat is that it helps open things up. This is a little bit of a different flow for us, so hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully some of those tips that I gave you will help you in your other practices and the other movements and other classes that you take. And always remember, if you have any questions, please let me know. Send me an email, send me a comment, whatever you'd like. And I'm glad you're here. Let's bring those palms together, hands down to heart center. Beautiful. Remember guys, from my heart to yours, namaste.